So change orders are not just paperwork. They're a signal that something in your estimating, your scope definition, your customer alignment broke down. And so this KPI is going to measure how disciplined your projects are before the first install hour is even booked, right? And so I'm going to work backwards just to show you how one number can be dug into, meaning this number here and these overall numbers, they don't really tell you much, but if you break it down, then you get more insight. And so everything is coming from this data set, which, fairly basic data set, project ID, when did it start, when did it finish, market, all that stuff. The main things we need is just the PM name and the system type, and then a change order count. And so 0 just means there was no change orders. But if it's greater than 0 or non-zero, then it means yes, there was. So we have to calculate that. And so there's only one formula we need, and I'll redo it here. Why is it field value? Equals if this is greater than 0, then 1, meaning yes, there was a change order. Otherwise, 0. It's formatted as $1, but you can see that, these numbers are matching. It's the same formula here. So yeah, so calculate that formula. I'm going to delete this because we don't need it. We already have it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get, for the PM here, I want to get a unique list. So we have that here, and it's done. The only thing I want to do here is I want to sort this alphabetically. So I'm just going to wrap this in the sort function, just like this. Copy, and then Control-Shift-V to paste. And we can center everything here. Well, that didn't do that. We can try that again. Okay, and so across the row here, I want to put the system type. So I'm not even going to go to the other data tab. So equals unique table. Open your bracket. And if you don't remember the column name, you can see every column here, which is the benefit of using a table. And so we want system type. And so we have that here. And then next, I want to sort this. And then finally, I want to transpose this across here, right? So transpose. So I want to put it across the row and not in the column. And we have that here. So Control C, Control Shift V. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to count. You could count or sum because it does the same thing. The number of ones here, and then divided by the number of, rows. And we're going to break that down by system type and PM. So you can do count for the first part, the top of the fraction, you can do count if s or sum if s, because counting 3 ones is the same as summing 3 ones, right? The answer is 3. But I'll do, just because we're going to do different types here, comma, 1, right? How many ones are there? Comma, and then table, and then, PM name, comma, Brandon here. So we can just delete this section out. So now we just want to count how many times Brandon Shaw and Controls Retrofit shows up in a row, divided by this. So that's the number. There's 44. So Brandon Shaw had 44 jobs. Of those 44 jobs for Controls and Retrofit, 8 of them had change orders. And that's the way you read this. And so we have this here. But like I mentioned before, I want to show you sort of the overall. And I want to show you here. So we can start here and then just get more granular. So what we're going to do is we're going to sum, right, the table and then the change order here, and that's it, because each one is 1. So the sum is the same as the count. So there's 126 change orders. And then now we're going to divide by the count of rows. So use the count A function, and then we can do the same thing. Projects and then change order, and then it's going to count everything. So this number here, which is like a main KPI, it's like, what does 12% even tell you? It's like, okay, 12 out of 100 jobs had change orders, but is that really granular enough? Because you're not going to see, right? And that's how this is valuable here. And so from here, what we want to do is we want to drag this over drag this over and then drag it down. But we need to fix one. So this is on controls retrofit, which is what we want. But here it comes down. So we need to tell Excel, like, as we go down, we want the system type to stay the same. But as we go left to right, we want it to change. And so that's called absolute and relative referencing. Right now this is relative, but we want it to be absolute at the column and at the row level. So anywhere you see the column, so Brandon Shaw, which is blue, even though your color might be different, put the $ before the column, so before the letter. So those two do before. And then for the row, put it in the middle. So put it before the number, after the letter, so before the row and after the column, because rows are numbers, right? You wouldn't say row B, you would say row 2. And then now Cops is crushing it for split AC, right? Only, 4 in 100 jobs have change orders, but for Brandon, 12 in 100 have change orders, right? He's 3 times worse. And so this is why it's valuable to do this. Okay, so let's just get the overall real quick. What I'm going to do, you can just copy this and paste it, delete the overall section like this, and then like this, then you get the percent. So overall for controls and retrofit, it's 24%. So Brandon is actually not doing bad, as to where Carlos and Luis are doing, not as good. So copy and then paste. And then same thing here. This time I'll copy the formula just to show you a different way to do it. But the benefit is, like, once you understand the structure of COUNTIF-S, SUMIF-S, AVERAGE-IF-S, MINIF-S, MAXIF-S, once you understand that structure, you'll be able to do these a lot faster. Because now you just need to strip out the system type. So look for the red, even though it's not always going to be red, but in this example, it's red right now. So I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to take this out here, and then Control-Shift-5 to format it, and then you have here. So what you'll notice is, like, this doesn't paint the picture, right? This paints the picture here, and even this helps paint a better picture, right? So it's 12%, but it's because controls are, like, the estimates are bad, right? 24 out of 100 jobs are being, are have a change order. So yeah. But one other thing we want to do, and I'm just going to copy this, and then I'll just paste it like this. And so what we want to do now is we just want to count the number of total jobs. And if you remember, it's just this right here. It's just the denominator that we divided by. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this down here, because if you remember, we locked it earlier. So now delete the numerator. Delete everything, including the slash for division. So delete all that, and now you have a number, right? And you remember earlier when we divided this by 8, it was 44. So copy that. Don't paste it to overall, but just paste it there. And then here, you can delete. Actually, you don't even have to do this formula, because this is just the sum of these 3, right? So you can just do equals sum. Copy that, paste it, and here I'll show you a trick. Highlight those 3, press Alt equal. Well, that didn't work. Show you this trick that doesn't work. So delete everything, highlight it, then press Alt equal, and you get a sum. It automatically sums everything for you. And then here you can just sum this or sum this. It's the same number, so I'll just equal sum. Right, so there's 1,050 jobs, and so 12% of those jobs had a change order, which is 126. And then finally, what I'll show real quick is I'll show how to build this heat map here, and we'll have a target rate of 10%. So just type in 10%, highlight everything, including here, and then hold down. So highlight this, hold down Control, and then highlight this. Conditional formatting, highlight cells greater than, and then this 10%. Boop. And then OK. And now you have a dynamic changing cell. Oh, can't type today. And so you can see, like, oh, I just want to, like, say, for example, this is whatever, 0, or they'll say it's 100, just so everything's white. If you don't add the conditional formatting, you can still, sort of look through and see, what's good and what's bad. But it's a lot easier just to do, I want to see anything above 18%, right? Just like that. And then finally, if we want this to be a target cell with the word target, what you need to do is you need to format it properly. So right now this is formatted as text, and these are numbers. So Excel can't make a comparison. So I'm going to press, I'll just do, whatever, 20%, and then I'll press Control 1, bring up the format cell dialog box, go to custom. You can see the percentages already here. If it's not there, then click on it. And then quotations, target, colon, space, quotations. And now you have your dynamic changing cell. So now when you share this with your team, you can just tell them, hey, there's a target cell you can change if you wanted to analyze things. You can do more. It's a bit of a sensitivity analysis, to where you can type things in and automatically see. Anyways, 12 and a half minutes, which is not too bad if you stuck around. If you have any questions on this stuff, questions@databoards.io. If you want this data set, including the completed, including this, there's a link to download it. If you can't find it, shoot me an email. And if you need some help structuring your data in a usable format or getting the KPIs or, building your reports, there's a link to my calendar, or you can just shoot me an email. But anyways, that's all I got for this one, and I'll see you in future videos.